Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about misconceptions about the UCAT exam. First of all, I just want to introduce myself and why I can talk about the UCAT. I did the UCAT last year and I scored a top 1 percentile score. I scored 3,150, which was in the top 1% nationally of scores for that exam. And I want to give you the tools that you need to successfully pass this exam, because it's quite an important exam when it comes to medical admissions in the UK. And I think a lot of people tend to find it a bit more difficult than they would find A-level exams because it's quite weird and a lot of people won't have done anything like it before. So these are 5 common things that people often get wrong about the UCAT. Number 1, people say you can't revise. This is a huge one. I hear it all the time. People are just going, well, you can't actually revise for the UCAT. Completely wrong. Although there is nothing to really learn, you can practice. And I think practice is the best way to succeed in that exam. You can use resources like Medify to do practice mock papers and practice questions. Practicing helps you develop a strategy to get in when you get into the exam, which will be quite stressful, which might be quite time pressured. You want to have something in place that you can go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this, and this is the strategy I'm going to use. And I think practicing and using resources and revising in quotations, is a good way to make sure you have this skill ready and the strategy ready to when you go in that exam, you'll be as successful as you can be. The second misconception is that you have time to properly answer every question. This is somewhat true because some people might, but for most people in some sections, specifically AR, which is 55 questions in 13 minutes, they will struggle to answer every question properly. The important things you need to remember in order to successfully do this is elimination. It's a multiple choice exam. Look for the answers that you know are completely wrong. Completely out there, they'd be completely different. Often they'd be obviously wrong. And eliminate those. Also, in AR, make sure you guess consistently. If you have no idea whatsoever as to what the pattern is, guess all of them at A, because you're more likely to get it right, because there's more likely to be at least one of the 5 in a set will be at an A. Will be an A. So you're more likely to get that one correct. Whereas if you had got A, B, C, D, you're more likely to potentially just miss the correct answer in each set. In AR, another sort of technique I'd use is guess half the pattern. You won't need to guess all the pattern, and there'll be something about them that is common, that is quite obvious. So maybe there'll be a square in the left corner. You'll always see those, and that'll be half the pattern. Then you'll know anything with a circle in the left corner is wrong. So if you've got half the pattern, even if it's not the full pattern in that complex situation, you're almost there. A third important misconception, and it's one that comes up all the time, is that the exam is really, really tense and really stressful. Again, this is somewhat true. The exam is stressful and it's quite tense. But when you go into the UCAT, most people will be quite pumped. They'll be stressed, so they'll have a lot of adrenaline. And my personal advice is use this adrenaline. Use your force to push through the questions, because often adrenaline helps to sharpen your mind and it'll help you to maintain focus for the 2 hours. 4, rationalizing your answers is good. Now, this is what a lot of intelligent students will do, and because that's what we're taught to do at A-level, is where what we do is we have a question and we try and see why every answer could be right. This isn't a good idea, because a lot of questions will contain some really close and tough wrong answers to work out. Or they'll contain exam traps, so they'll have something in there that will lead you off in the wrong path. This is important to try and avoid, because you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to be able to work out, ignore the answers, ignore the options, work out what the question is saying, and then link it to an answer. Don't link each of your answers back to the question, because that, again, will potentially take a lot more time and could lead you down the wrong path. Number five, sorry. The fifth misconception is people often use a book to practice. This isn't a good idea because it doesn't replicate the computer exam. Your exam will be on a computer, it will have a computer-based calculator, and the only paper thing you'll have is a notepad. So you want to practice as much as you physically can on the computer with some paper on the side to do any working. You want to become resistant to glazing, where your eyes won't be able to focus for the full 2 hours. You want to be able to do full 2-hour exams without having that problem. So you want to go and do full 2-hour mock papers on a computer. Don't use a book to practice. You can use a book to diagnose and to look at the different types of question. But again, I wouldn't recommend that. Medify has plenty of questions on there that are good for each section of the UCAT. And they have diagnostic mock exams, which are half the time, which will help you get a rough estimate of where you are. So just to summarize, you can definitely revise. Remember your elimination strategies to increase your probability of getting the right answer. Use the adrenaline in the exam. Don't rationalize, actually work out the question, and try as much as you can to use a computer to do all your mocks and to do all your practice. Good luck, and stay tuned. We'll do loads of videos on each of the sections of the UCAT, explaining strategies of how to tackle the questions. Thank you.